I happen to be the aggregator of the information, meaning I've gathered the information over 30 years of walking with people, with millionaires and billionaires and broke people. So I have a lot of data, a whole lot more than your broke brother-in-law with his opinion or the idiot you were playing golf with yesterday. Our data says that the shortest direction, the shortest distance between you and wealth is having no debt.
Today, Dave Ramsey is worth over $200 million. As impressive as that number is, Dave Ramsey is perhaps most famous for getting a little loud with people who have horrible money habits.
It's a mathematical thing. When you give your income to someone else, you don't have it anymore. Is this hard? And when you give your income away, you've given up your economic future. All for crap.
Okay, jokes aside, we can all learn a lot from Dave Ramsey. Over the years, Dave has found a lot of patterns. He can pretty much guess how much money you have in the bank based on a simple list of questions. One of these questions is perhaps the most telling. What do you spend your money on? I did some research and discovered some shocking facts. I wanted to share this with you today so you can avoid making these same mistakes and finally start saving and investing towards financial freedom. And it all starts with this.
If you can't pay for it in cash, in total, on the spot, cash on the barrelhead, you can't afford it, whatever it is.
Number 1. Impulsive purchases. You're waiting in the checkout line ready to pay for your things and leave, but all of a sudden you spot a bar of chocolate. You weren't planning on buying it, but it's just too tempting, so you toss it into your cart. And while you're at it, you also throw in a couple of magazines and a fresh pack of gum. Sound familiar? This is what we call impulsive spending, and it's one of the easiest traps to fall into because you end up spending more than you planned. One of the pitfalls of poor people is that they spend money they don't have on impulse purchases. But this is an easy mistake to avoid. A simple strategy I use is to simply make a list of items I am interested in buying and defer it for later. After a week, I can look through the list, and if I still really want something, only then do I consider buying it. Number 2. Unused gym membership. According to Statistica, the top 3 resolutions for Americans in 2022 all had to do with exercise and health. The sad reality is that many people will buy a membership to better themselves only to forget about it a few weeks later. So if you have an unused gym membership, cancel it. Number 3. Late payment fees. Did you know that late payment fees cost Americans around $577 per year on average? Ouch. There are so many smarter ways to spend that money to make your life better. The good news is that it's so ridiculously easy to avoid late payment fees. Just set up automatic full bill payments through your online banking portal, and you'll never get hit with these pesky late fees again. Never forget Dave's famous quote, "Your greatest asset is your paycheck." Number 4. Expensive coffee. Who doesn't love a hot cup of coffee to help wake you up in the morning? I sure do, and so does Dave Ramsey. But the problem isn't how much you pay for it. Coffee can be incredibly expensive if you buy it from a restaurant or cafe. Think about it. All the restaurants and cafes are buying the same raw coffee beans that you can get for a fraction of the cost at your local grocery store. So why pay 10 times the price? Some people do this for status. But always remember this. While the person holding a Starbucks cup may look wealthy, the goal is to actually be wealthy. Number 5. New gadgets and devices. The rate at which technology is growing is astounding, and so is the rate at which people spend on new products every year. While it may be fun to stay up to date with the newest gadgets and devices on the market, it may be best to wait on the sidelines until you need to replace your existing device. A quick Google search can show you that a new iPhone 15 Pro Max will set you back about $2,000. Now imagine paying that every year on a phone that barely even changes from year to year. Imagine all the other ways you can level up your finances every year with an extra $2,000. Speaking of leveling up your finances, I recently discovered a side hustle that 99% of the population has never even heard of, and it allows me to earn passive income from home. So if you want to earn an honest income online while keeping your current job, click the link in the description to learn more. Number 6. Cigarettes. Smoking is a bad habit for 2 main reasons. The first is that it's bad for your health, and the second is that it's extremely expensive. Smokers on average live significantly shorter lives than non-smokers, and even worse, their shorter life is also more likely to be plagued with illness and disease. Besides the health concerns, since this is a finance channel, let's consider how much smoking will actually cost you. If you smoke, you probably smoke several packs a month, and if a pack costs you $15, it's not hard to spend several $100s a month on cigarettes. If you had simply invested that money into an index fund returning just 7% per year, this would add up to thousands of dollars in extra income that you could have had in your pocket. Quitting is never an easy thing to do, but with strong incentives like a longer, healthier, wealthier life, it's a worthwhile challenge to pursue. Take it slow and steady, and gradually work towards quitting this dangerous habit for good. Speaking of cigarettes, check this clip out.
When are you going to look at them and say, you know what? The credit card is the cigarette of the financial world.
Number 7. High-interest credit card debt. Dave Ramsey once made a rather controversial statement. He said that credit cards are the cigarettes of the financial world. But in a way, he's right. If you don't use debt responsibly, it attacks you from every direction. Not only do you end up owing a lot of money at a high interest rate, this will compound over time and make you even poorer. And if that wasn't enough, you'll also end up destroying your credit score, which will make getting loans in the future even more expensive. According to Dave, to break free from these chains, it is absolutely necessary to pay off your credit card debts in full and stop using them altogether. After all, if you don't have the cash to buy something, then you can't afford it. Number 8. Bottled water. I remember my layover flight at the airport in France back in 2009. I was really thirsty and asked my mom for water. So we walked over to the counter and asked the smiling cashier for a bottle of water. When she said the price, my jaw dropped. It was €8 for a small bottle of water. Since we had no other water, my mom still bought it for me, but we learned a valuable lesson. While it may be hard to do during international flights, you should always carry your own water with you on a daily basis. It's convenient to have a few bottles of water on hand for emergencies, but it shouldn't be your go-to method for daily water consumption, as it's unbelievably expensive, especially when compared to just using your tap. At my house, we installed a high-quality water filter that purifies the water to a very high level. It tastes much better than even the most expensive bottled water, and at a tiny fraction of the price. I think spending money on a high-quality water filter at home is much smarter than buying bottled water and getting ripped off. Number 9. Paying for cable. I bet you weren't expecting this on the list. After all, in 2023, with all the streaming services out there, who even uses cable? Well, here's a shocking statistic that you didn't know. Turns out that 48% of Americans still pay for cable. That's almost half the population. These 48% of Americans are paying over $100 a month for TV and shows that they could pay so much less for if they got a streaming service instead. If you want to build wealth, follow Dave Ramsey's footsteps and cut your cable. Number 10. Expensive mobile phone plans.
Yeah, this is the evil part of AT&T and Verizon and so forth, okay? When they finance your cell phone into your phone bill, you don't think of it as debt. It's still debt. You still borrowed money.
There are 2 components to a phone plan. The first is the plan itself, and the second is the phone. Make sure to keep watching because later in this video, I'll share my thoughts on how phone plans are making you poor. Dave Ramsey said during one of his shows that paying your phone through a contract plan is still a debt, even though most people don't think of it as such. Simply put, treat it as any other debt. And if you're using the debt snowball method made famous by Dave Ramsey, target it and pay it off as soon as possible. Number 11. Brand name clothing. A general rule is that poor people spend money on brands that we all know, so they can show off their wealth. Rich people buy from brands no one has heard of, because they aren't trying to gain attention through their clothes. There are 2 ways you can deal with overspending on clothes. First, you can simply avoid brand name clothes and shop at stores that offer high quality fashion for cheap, like Zara. Or if you're a brand name lover, you can rent clothes for special occasions. Number 12. Extended warranties. It seems like almost anything you buy these days comes with warranties, and the option to buy extended warranties. This is especially true with high-end electronics. Unfortunately, most warranties go unused, and are actually just a way for the company to make more money off of you. So do your own careful research and weigh the pros and cons before you pay a hefty amount for a warranty. Number 13. Unused subscriptions. Dave Ramsey is not a fan of anything that goes to waste, and for good reason. Sadly, this generation is plunged headfirst into massive consumerism, and one of those hidden fees is subscriptions. In 2023, most TV networks that used to be TV channels have now transferred to streaming services. This has many advantages, such as giving everyone more options that are tailored to their preferred types of shows and movies, but it comes at a cost. Paying for individual services like Netflix, Hulu, Plex, Disney+, Amazon Prime, and more can add up very quickly. You might find that every platform has a few things you like watching, but lacks something else. So this forces you to sign up to multiple streaming platforms just to be able to watch 5 to 6 different shows or web series. With all these different platforms, it can be hard to realize whether or not each subscription is actually worth the money. Think about it. If you subscribe to Amazon Prime for just one specific show, is it really worth paying $15 per month for 10 months when you can just buy a DVD copy of the entire series for $50? The simplest way to avoid wasting money with these services is to never use automatic subscriptions. This will help you only keep the subscriptions you use because you'll manually pay for them. Another method is to ask yourself if you use a streaming service at least once a week. If you don't, then it's best to consider it an unused subscription and cancel it. Number 14. Excessive alcohol consumption. Do I really even have to explain this one? Alcohol is bad for health, and it's also bad for your wallet. Avoid drinking as much as possible. Thank me later. Number 15. Convenience store snacks. Okay, this one hits close to home. It's easy to pop into a convenience store when you're filling up gas and leave with a bag of chips or a chocolate bar. I mentioned this earlier when I was talking about impulse spending. Convenience stores are designed to get you to make impulse purchases. Mind you, these aren't massive expenses, but they chip away at your budget in the long run. Dave Ramsey has a very clear philosophy on this. He mentions that food is the #1 thing that people struggle with when it comes to budgeting. So that's even more reason to avoid impulsively buying snacks. Number 16. High car payments.
Payment monthly against the value of the car. You're renting the car. At the end of the closed-in lease, there's a residual value, a lump sum that is due if you want to keep the car. You have effectively rented the car. No, you didn't. You rented the money that the car represents. When you rent money, that's called debt.
Congrats, you're driving a brand new car and getting a lot of stares. Some are impressed, others are jealous, but after you pass by, none of them care. Was 2 seconds of attention worth paying a premium every month? According to Dave Ramsey, lease payments are the biggest vehicle expense you can find. At the end of the day, a car gets you from point A to point B. So if it's reliable and used, it'll make your journey to financial freedom a whole lot easier. Number 17, fast fashion. The problem is literally in the name. Fast fashion becomes popular fast and also becomes a thing of the past. Fast. Instead of wasting money to be trendy for a few months, find pieces of clothing that are high quality and timeless. These will always be in style and will also last a long time. This is why most millionaires and even billionaires never bother with fast fashion. It's the poor people desperately trying to fit in who obsess over silly trends. Number 18. Unused gym equipment. So you watched the latest Athlean X video on YouTube and you're super amped up about getting jacked. Been there, done that. The problem arises when you use it only for 1 week before letting it collect dust and using it as a clothes hanger. Realize that you don't need fancy gear to work out. You're simply fooling yourself. You can simply use your own body weight and get a high-intensity workout like you've never done before. If you're just starting out, go to YouTube and follow along with the body weight exercise videos that you could watch for free. If you worked out regularly for at least 6 months, which would prove that you're committed long-term, then you can consider buying equipment for your home. Number 19. Non-generic medications. When Dave Ramsey says live on rice and beans, he usually means picking the cheapest option so you can get your finances in order. But the saying doesn't just apply to food. When you buy medication, make sure you get generic medications, since branded medications often cost 30% more, even though it's the exact same thing. Number 20. Excessive data plans. One of the most prevalent things in today's society is the use of data. Some of you are probably watching this video with data on your cell phone. But here's the thing, how much data do you really need? If you're paying 20 gigabytes of data but only use 3 per month, then you're paying way more than you need to. Take a careful look at your usage in the past several months and pick a cheaper plan with less data to save money every month. Number 21. Unused gift cards. Hard-earned money. If you have unused gift cards lying around, consider using them either as gifts for other people or use them yourself. Might as well take advantage of them by buying a gift for a discounted price for a loved one's birthday. Number 22. Unnecessary home decor. Do you really need that fake plant in the corner of your desk? What about that fancy frame that you think is cute? Chances are your home is beautiful as it is, and these decorations are just sucking up your money for no good reason. If you like decorating your home, then save money by creating your own or buying them used. Number 23. Eating out.
Restaurant food is entertainment. It is not nutrition. If you want to do entertainment, you do entertainment when you're not broke and in debt and don't have an emergency fund. You will have a better meal when you learn to cook at home.
Okay, before you get mad, hear me out. I'm not against eating out entirely. In fact, I love eating out myself. The problem is how often most Americans eat out these days, mostly out of sheer laziness. Here's what Dave Ramsey said about it. It's cheaper to make a meal at home than it is at any restaurant. But that doesn't mean you need to stop eating out forever. What matters is that you're not spending more than you need to eat out. If you pay $5 for a meal you can make at home, then it's normal to spend $15 for the same meal at a restaurant, a 300% difference. Saving just $10 a day can be a huge step forward for your finances. It can be hard to find time to cook, so finding easy recipes on YouTube and using appliances like a slow cooker or a pressure cooker can help. Cook in large batches so you can meal prep for the rest of the week. And if you find the temptation to eat out really hard to curb, then consider picking up the food yourself instead of getting a home delivery, especially if your favorite restaurants are nearby. This can easily save you several dollars per meal, which quickly adds up to hundreds of dollars per month. Number 24, unnecessary storage units. Are you thinking of purchasing storage units? Hear me out. You'll probably pay close to $100 a month to store items that you'll likely never use in your life. In fact, you would be better off just selling the extra junk and pocketing the cash or investing it. Why would you pay to store something you don't even need? Number 25, expensive beauty treatments. Do you need a cream for under your eyes, your hand, your face, and your legs all separately? This is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to beauty treatments. But they all have one thing in common. They cost a lot of money. The truth is that you can enjoy these beauty treatments, but be realistic with your money. If you want to enjoy it, then fit it into your budget within reason. But if you're spending hundreds of dollars a month on creams and skincare, then maybe think twice about it.